Hi, I'm Madison and welcome to my channel. Today I have some summer romance book recommendations for you. So now that we're in, the summer months here, well, in the United States at least, I have some books that I think would be perfect romances to read this summer. I just feel like when it starts getting nice out, when it starts getting sunnier, you kind of want those like really fun and enjoyable like rom-com-y summer romances to read, and I'm going to give them to you today. So I'm going to start this off with one of my favorite books of all time, and that is The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloane. If you have not read this, not only is it one of the hottest, spiciest, most delicious books I've ever read, but it also has an age gap in it. She's older, he's younger, and he literally treats her like a queen. Like, he worships the ground that she walks on, and I am so here for it. It is so amazing. So if you have not read The Pool Boy yet, this is like, has to be like your #1 summer romance read if you have not. This is part of like a series called the Nashville Neighborhood series, but funnily enough, I haven't even read the first book in that series. I just started it with book 2. I need to continue on the series. I literally own them all. No, where are they? Where are they? They're all here. But you don't need to read them in order. You just get to see the characters sometimes, and I had no issue reading this without reading the other ones first. So following Troy and following Erica. He's, I think, like 20, like in his early 20s, and she's in like her early 40s. And Erica just got divorced from her husband a year ago. Turns out he was cheating on her, so she's kind of just like taken the last like year to kind of get her life back together. And there's this young guy who is her pool boy. But not only is this young guy her pool boy, he's also her best friend's son. And one day she's just at home sunbaking topless, and it's during the day and she's not normally home at that time, and he comes over to come clean the pool, and lo and behold, her tatas are just out, and it's like a whole hilarious scene. And he's very attractive. She kind of realizes that he's attractive, and then he has actually always had a crush on her. Like, he has been like in love with her for years. They start like a secret romance, and it is so good, so amazing. It also has a lot more depth to it than that as well. Like, there's a whole plot line in here with him wanting to be in the music industry, and she works in the music industry, and all the things that he's like struggling with, and her kind of also coming to terms with herself because she's, her marriage was so shitty that she's finally met someone for the very first time who's treating her like a queen, who was saying that she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, she's amazing, and like all these things, and she's like realizing her own self-worth as well. And I just love the ever-loving crap out of it, so you need to be reading this book. Then we have Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. I just recently read this and I gave it 5 stars. It was the first 5-star book that I've read in like 3 months when I picked this up, so that tells you a lot about this book. So this follows Veronica and Austin. Now, Veronica, when this book starts off, she's supposed to get married. She's literally like hours away from walking down the altar, and literally 2 hours beforehand, she gets a text from her fiance saying, "Hey, had such a great night with you last night. Can't wait to do it again," and then sends a dick pic. And she sits there and she goes, I didn't see him last night, and he also called me by the wrong name. And then that's when she realizes that he has been schwanking his secretary and that he's been cheating on her. And she's like, "Oh, I'm not getting married to you anymore." And so she ends up running away. The only problem is that Veronica's entire life was controlled by her fiance. Everything, like even her phone plan was under him. And so when she leaves him at the altar, he cancels everything. He basically kicks her out, and she's got like nothing. And so she's in this small town. She goes to the diner, and she ends up finding out that there's a dad in town who needs a nanny for the summer. And she goes, "Perfect, I'm going to apply for this. I need something to get me back on my feet. This is the perfect opportunity." Even though she has literally no experience of being a nanny at all. And the guy in the beginning, his name is Austin. He at the start is like, "I am not hiring you. First off, you rocked up to my house in a wedding dress. You seem batshit crazy." And he's also like, "You also have no qualifications. Like, why would I hire you to look after my children?" And the thing is that he ends up kind of getting to know her over the next like day or so, because she's got nowhere to stay. And he kind of feels bad for her, and he takes pity on her, and so he agrees to hire her as his nanny for the summer. And the two of them off the bat have crazy electric chemistry. They actually end up kissing before he even hires her. So when he does hire her, he goes, "Look, we kissed, we can't let this happen again. Like, it was a one-time thing. I know we're both attracted to one another, but it can't go anywhere if you're working for me." And so it's their romance. It's so cute and adorable. I love them together because they just had so much sexual tension from the get-go that they were like trying to deny and deny and deny. And it just built up and up and up and up, and it was so much fun. It's also super hilarious. I loved it. It was so much fun. Definitely recommend. Next we have Our Scorching Summer by Kels and Denise Stone. Pick this because of course it literally is a summer romance. Like it is the quintessential, everything about this book screams summer romance. So this follows Nico and Lily. So Nico is Lily's best friend's brother-in-law, and when she tells him that, you know, the bar that she's working at is closing down, so she's going to be unemployed and that she has no plans for the summer, and Nico, who already had his summer plans to travel first class to Brazil and like have an entire summer like traveling, decides, screw it, I'm going to actually exchange my first class ticket to 2 economy tickets to Brazil and take her with me. It's also a friends with benefits romance as well, and he's a reformed playboy and she's a reformed like playgirl. And so both of them like were very like notorious like data, like, you know, going around doing all like that spicy stuff, and now they're both like changed in life, and it's so cute. Like they are literally one and the same, and it was so adorable, but also really hot. Like Nico has some of the best dirty talk you will ever read in a book. I was like, oh, okay. Then we have Throttled by Lauren Asher. Now I picked this as a summer romance read because I don't know, something about Formula One right now just screams summer romance. When I read this book, it also did, because I'm pretty sure, shoot, I'm trying to remember, I read this last year. I'm pretty sure there's even like a bit of a scene, like I think they're in Spain, they're like by the water at some point. I don't know. To me, this is just a summer romance. I'm telling you it is. Just take it at face value. So Noah Slade is like literally Formula One's golden child. Like he is going to be the next legend. He's doing amazing. He's the one that everyone is watching. Everyone's like, he is like the hot shit right now, okay? And Maya, she is a videographer, photographer, and her little brother just joined Noah's Formula One team, and so she is, you know, hanging around with him and is like kind of filming all these different things for the Formula One with him. And so through that she ends up meeting Noah, and right off the bat her and Noah have like this undeniable chemistry, but Maya doesn't want to act on it, A, because, you know, Noah is such like a legendary person, like no, and she doesn't want to be part of that infamy, but also because she's like, this is my brother's teammate, like that feels like a line that I'm not allowed to cross. And also, you know, her brother did tell all the guys, they were like, you can't sleep with my sister either. And so it was like a whole thing. And so they actually end up having like a bit of a secret romance that goes on, and I absolutely adored it. It was so much fun. It has like all these different tropes in it. It's just a really good time. And I don't know, Formula One is just so sexy. I really want to make sure that I get to the rest of the series. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But this first book was a really, really solid 4 out of 5 stars for me. So I would recommend it if you want some sexy Formula One-ness. And then last but not least, I've got the quintessential summer romance book that if you haven't read yet because you are afraid of the hype or anything like that, I would hope that you have read it yet. If you're watching this video and you haven't, what? But that is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Like, I read this exactly when it came out. I think it was 2 years ago now. This book was just amazing. It was so 5 stars from the very beginning. Like from the get-go, this was just an amazing read, and everyone was hyping it up at the time. It's still worth the hype now, 100%. So this follows Piper and Brendan. Now Piper is, you know, she's a social media influencer. She comes from a really, really rich family. She's kind of that like, you know, Paris Hilton party girl, basically is who Piper is. The thing is that Piper throws a party one night and gets arrested, and her stepfather is like, that's it, like, you're done, I'm cutting you off. You know, like, you keep doing these things, you're never gonna learn as a person unless you have to work for something yourself, and you have to, like, you know, ground yourself. So what he ends up doing is her biological father, who passed away, her bio dad had like a bar in like this small town in Maine. And so her stepfather's like, I am going to put you guys up and you guys are gonna, so stepfather's like, you are gonna go there for the summer. You're gonna go spend the summer, you know, at the bar that your dad left you, in this small town where you're like, you know, your whole roots and your mum came from. He's like, you're gonna go there for the summer, you're gonna reset, you're gonna figure out your own shit, and that's it. And the second she gets there, she meets Brendan. And Brendan is a king crab fisherman. He like owns a boat, he does like a whole thing. He's like really revered in the town. Everyone in town loves him and knows him. What is happening is they obviously meet, and off the bat, Brendan just doesn't like Piper. He's like, she's just this ritzy, glitzy glamour girl. He thinks that she's an airhead. He's like, I want nothing to do with her, but she's also really hot, but doesn't really matter. However, they end up kind of bumping into each other over and over again, and he ends up helping Piper whenever she has things like, you know, there's like an issue with the apartment, he comes over and helps fix it, and their romance like slowly happens over the course of the book as they fall in love, and it was so much fun. It was so good. It was a little spicy too, not too spicy, but a nice amount of spicy. It was also laugh out loud hilarious. I just adored the shit out of Piper because she was always like, everyone thinks they know me because of what I look like and who I am, and the thing is that no one ever really gets a chance to get to know me, but at the same time, I'm not going to change who I am just because other people might judge me for it. Like, I like to look nice, I like to be pretty and beautiful. If people have a problem with that, like, that's not my problem. And this also has one of the most iconic scenes where Brendan doesn't do like social media at all, but but he specifically downloads Instagram and like joins it just to follow her. So it's the funniest thing because he starts it and she's the only person he's following, and she realizes that he did this, and it's so good. It was so good. It was so amazing. So yeah. Alright, those are my 5 summer romance recommendations. They are all also on KU except for The Pool Boy, which is nice to know. And let me know down below what your favorite summer romance is. If I haven't read it, I definitely want to check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, please like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe to my channel and check me out over on TikTok and Instagram. And until next time, thanks so much everyone. Bye-bye!